All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Hello again, and welcome to Primitive Screwheads Talk Horror Movies. And Andrew, it's a fine day for an exorcism.
Appropriate. I like it.
So, just any new listeners out there, or old listeners who might need a refresher, or older listeners who have listened to all 6 episodes of our podcast. That's right.
We have 6 episodes?
We have 6 episodes. That's
shit. And that one hidden one that nobody ever saw.
That's right. That one hidden one where... What movie did we interview at that time? Or what movie did we watch?
Alien Covenant.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were doing a bit, but no, that was an actual thing that we did. All right. Yeah, we got... I thought I was just like, yeah, let's mess with the viewer. Let's talk about that super secret hidden one where, it was... I don't know. God, what's like a holy grail hidden... movie, like some movie that was lost in the 20s that was never seen. Like, wasn't there a version of the Phantom of the Opera that was lost forever?
Maybe. I'm not sure about that.
I think so, yeah. Anyway.
Maybe, we have the original director's cut of Justice League with Zack Snyder's cut.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we do have that.
That's elusive.
And then we do have the secret Suicide Squad cut as well before the executives started meddling with all of that right there. And we have... Yeah, I don't know. I can't run with this joke anymore. We've beaten it.
Josh Trank's original Fantastic Four.
Yes. Okay, so there is a little bit of leeway with this joke right here. Oh, Josh Trank. I did love Chronicle. Chronicle was a good one, but...
Yeah, well, I kind of feel like Josh Trank, not to be offensive, he's kind of like... And Josh Trank and Dean DeHaan, like, they were both great. Like, they did a great job with that movie, but I haven't seen them in anything since then that I really liked.
Yeah, same here. Well, Josh Trank hasn't done anything except Fantastic Four since then.
Oh, really? Weren't they going to give him, like, a Star Wars trilogy, and then that movie came out, and they're like, fuck
nope,
that.
Not happening. Let's see. He has a movie in post-production called Fonzo, which is a crime film, and Tom Hardy is the... Oh, it's an Al Capone film. Interesting.
Oh.
All right, cool. All right, well, that'll be interesting. We'll see about that. But yeah, they're not giving him any big budget movies anymore.
Oh, yeah. He was totally supposed to have a Star Wars trilogy. It got taken away.
Yeah, that's that.
Oh, that's great. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, yeah, poor Josh Trank. I just remember I always liked his Twitter because he had a icon from Suikoden, too. And I love that guy.
Oh.
So.
Wait, did you hear the good news that they reinstated James Gunn for Guardians 3?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And
Dude, I would love to be there to see that conversation.
No, because he's doing Suicide Squad 2, or the Suicide Squad reboot as it is. And then they also have the, Guardians 3. So everything's looking up. All right.
Yeah.
So, horror movies. That's our thing.
Talk about this. Yeah.
So, obviously, we are 2 nerds. What you just saw right there is a snippet of our normal conversation, just going back and forth. We're 2 friends who met over in South Korea teaching ESL. We bonded over our shared love of horror movies, and we meet weekly, and we're still keeping up with that schedule, to discuss just random horror movies that we were seeing, and just kind of give a deep dive analysis, or just generally to talk about it and, hopefully entertain you guys. This is our 7th episode, and in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, we are going to talk about the 1993 comedy horror, and I'm going to put emphasis on the comedy on this one, Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Now, my first exposure to this movie was from Wayne's World. Wayne's World 2, where they had that little skit where Wayne was talking about it, and he put the flashlight under his face and kept going, "I'm the Leprechaun!" And then Garth is really, really, really freaked out about that, and then they just go back and forth. So that was my exposure to it. I had never seen a single film in the series, although I have heard of the cinematic universe it has spawned, which, let's run through it real quick. Let's see what the zeitgeist has created. So we've got Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, a year later, Leprechaun 3, 2 years later. Then we have Leprechaun 4 in space. And
classic.
Then we go back down to Leprechaun in the Hood, which was, I believe it won a few Oscars, so they decided to go ahead and do it again for Leprechaun Back to the Hood, spelled BACK number 2 THA Hood. And then they decided that the cinematic universe was just getting too complex and too top-heavy for its own good, so they rebooted it with Leprechaun Origins. Or was that a prequel?
No, so that is a kind of a reboot. It kind of gets rid of all the other canon. Like, it's no longer a Warwick Davis-like character. It's no longer like a little person. Mm-hmm. It's literally like some kind of like descent-like creature that runs around.
Interesting. So it has nothing to do with leprechauns whatsoever.
No, like, they are leprechauns.
Okay.
That's what they call the leprechauns.
Uh-huh.
But it's bad.
Okay, cool.
It's very bad.
And then there's also Leprechaun Returns, which was released this year, and I have not seen that one either. In fact,
I bought that on release day when it came out in Vudu.
And how was that?
You really miss Warwick Davis, but it's campy. It's like it knows what it is. It's not very good, but it knows what it is.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to be starting talking about this today. Before we get started, though, I'd just like to give a thank you to our opening song. It is Horror Movie Story by the band Teddy's Atlas. They come off the album Children of the Corn. You know, I've been putting their thanks at the end of every episode, but then I figured, you know what, we should put it at the beginning because they let us use their stuff, and it's cool. And they released a new EP the other week, and it wasn't half bad, so I appreciate it, guys. You're good Canadian boys.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
It's a great song.
All right, cool. So once again, I have never seen this movie before. I've never seen this series before. You've seen all of them. So it's interesting to kind of talk about our different perspectives on this going into it. But let's just give a little background information about this movie right here. So released in 1993. Reviews were terrible. Completely bombed at the box office. Came out 2 days after my birthday, interestingly enough.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And the big star power in this one is obviously Warwick Davis.
Obviously.
Who is the titular Leprechaun. He was the main character in Willow. He's done a couple Star Wars characters back and forth. I really liked him. I really liked him in Willow. I thought he did a great job as his character. And he was... No.
What?
He was Marvin, the paranoid robot. He didn't voice it, obviously. That was Alan Rickman. But in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's what IMDb is saying.
Really?
Was he in there? Oh, he was also Flitwick in Harry Potter. I knew about that.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
Yeah. No, I didn't realize that was him. All right. Cool. Yeah, it says Marvin, so I guess he must have been inside the suit. Awesome.
Huh.
Cool. Alrighty.
Learning things every day.
So also we have a lesser-known actress, and her name is Jennifer Aniston, and this was her very, very, very first film that she ever got started on, and she plays our main character in this one right here. So, overall, Andrew, what did you think of Leprechaun?
I kind of love it. I think it's like a great, hokey, ridiculous movie. I don't know. I forced my roommate to watch it with me this year at the time when I watched it, just because I thought it was a great movie. I thought he hasn't seen it. Like, I used to watch these movies all the time. They're always on like the Sci-Fi Channel when I was younger, and I would watch them all, just anytime they were on.
Yeah.
Like, I just love the hokiness of it. Like, watching it this time though again, I didn't realize for some reason I always thought there's more of an element of horror to it than there actually was.
Yes.
But no, it does not. It doesn't even try, really.
Yeah, that's kind of what I started out with right there, like emphasis on the comedy. Like I was expecting, at least a few really, really cool looking kills or something like that. But they're really, besides the pogo stick death, there really wasn't too much creative about this in terms of the death scene. So that was a little bit disappointing to me. But anyway,
well, you should watch the sequels though. There's some. They get ridiculous.
Awesome.
The deaths become ridiculous.
Awesome. Well, that'll be our special secret episodes as we move on. Or it could just be a yearly tradition. This podcast is going strong 6 years later. We can go ahead and we could do an annual St. Patrick's Day Leprechaun sequel-a-thon.
I like it.
Yeah, that's good too. So, 1993 Leprechaun. My opinion, I liked it. I definitely liked the hokiness of it. It's a bad movie.
Whoa.
Like, objectively, it's a bad movie. Like, the acting is terrible. Warwick Davis brings it his all, and that's adorable. The plot makes, crazy amount of no sense, but it's entertaining, definitely. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. It's definitely, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's one of those late night sci-fi channel movies where they come on in and they're just like, okay, well, what cheap movie can we get the rights to air at 2 a.m. on our channel? And Leprechaun's one of them. So that's my opinion on that one right there. I like this overall, but we'll kind of dive deeper into our apparently contrasting opinions on this later on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So why don't you start us off about how this movie starts off?
All right, cool. So this movie kind of starts off with a little, like a vignette. I don't know what you call this thing, but basically we just get the leprechaun kind of walking down these weird, like, set of stairs, which kind of always reminded me of, like, the stairs in Lion King, like the Be Prepared song.
Yeah.
He kind of comes down, and like, the first thing I noticed when I saw this was his fucking hat has so much, like, glitter on it. Like, for this, like, I don't know, this, like, ancient creature, he has this, like, glittery-ass hat, and these really, like, shiny purple pants.
Yeah.
Like, maybe pink pants, kind of hard to tell. And he gives us this little riddle. He's like, try as they will, try as they might, for he who steals my gold won't live through the night.
Yeah.
And I like how this is just kind of, tossing this out there, like, warning to himself while he's down in this little cave. And we get some great, like, 90s kids music playing. And we kind of cut to this Irish guy kind of driving up and pulling up in his big truck to this small little shanty kind of place. And he downs a bottle of Jameson.
Because we got to know he's Irish, right? We got to put the Jameson in there.
Oh, yeah. We did with Jameson. Then, of course, he has the most Irish name ever, or Mr. O'Grady.
Yes, and he does Riverdance the whole time. It really took me out of the movie when he was just Riverdancing up the steps to the porch. But, I mean, I guess that's how they do it in Ireland. So I have no Irish friends. I can't tell.
No, that's exactly what I assume everyone's like. But we learn that apparently his wife comes out and he's wearing this really nice suit, and he pulls up in a limo, having a grand old time, drinking like a fiend. And he's like, yo, wife, I got a bunch of money, let's get out of here. And his wife's like, yo, I thought you were like going to, bury your mother's ashes. Why'd you come back with the fucking urn? And he opens the urn to reveal that he has a bunch of gold. And he's like, hey, I found this leprechaun guy, caught him, made him show me where his gold is, and, them the rules. I'm pretty sure he like legitimately says it's the rules.
Yeah, like,
which, like,
he knows what.
Where are the rules?
I guess it's kind of like what's been engraved into him just through Irish culture growing up. We all know the story. It's a leprechaun. You find their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but it disappears, once you steal it, which I guess this movie does not abide by those rules. Well, instead of disappearing, the leprechaun comes and tries to fucking kill you. So, that's a little adaptation. I don't know, and the culture may have changed over time, but yeah, that's what we got right there. All right, so he gets his little pot of gold. How is Wifey about this one? Does Wifey enjoy the fact that he's got all this gold?
Oh, no, she doesn't trust him. She's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
She's suspicious, mad suspicious.
Yeah. So we got that right there. And they go back inside, and then wife is just like, oh, I can't believe my husband is so crazy about that. When, all of a sudden, our leprechaun comes into the picture. There's a suitcase in the living room, and the wife hears a child trapped inside, and we get to see one of the leprechaun's powers, which is he can manipulate his voice to whatever it is, which is not a real leprechaun thing. I don't believe so.
Maybe it's a thing.
I don't know. I mean, I would assume no matter what voice they do, there'd have to be an Irish accent on there. But I guess not.
True.
So she opens up the briefcase, Leprechaun pops out, and we get our second, aside from the cold open, glimpse of Warwick Davis, who absolutely kills him in this role. He is incredible in this role. It really does seem like he just showed up to set every single day, and he just enjoyed the hell out of what he did. The way he presents himself, the way he moves, his mannerisms, the way his tone of voice, the way he just cracks jokes at everything. Like, he is enjoying the hell out of both the leprechaun and the actor as well. And he's definitely the highlight of this movie because he's really, really, really good in this one right there. So, what happens to Wifey?
So it's kind of weird because he basically just kind of walks towards her and she like freaks out and falls down a thing of stairs.
Yeah.
And like I always thought this is kind of opening, you show our villain and all he does is kind of awkwardly waddle towards the old lady and she falls down the stairs. And we get this great, after she breaks her neck, we get this great pan up to the menacing kind of silhouette of him,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me think that this film was kind of, the editor didn't quite know what was going on, because like we already got a full body shot of him like multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
but then they did this weird like leering, half shadowed figure of him, as if like this was our first reveal of who he was.
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, we know you're a dick. We know that you literally said in the cold open that you are going to literally murder anyone who steals his gold. So like, we know. We know. And doesn't he make a quip about like watching her step or something like that?
Yeah, I forget what that is.
Uh-huh.
I forget what he says. He makes so many quips.
Yeah,
That's all he does.
yeah.
He just makes
it just keeps
like
going
quips.
over and over again. So husband comes back, Mr. O'Grady, and he comes on in, and O'Grady knows exactly what's going on. He knows Leprechaun's out, Leprechaun's back, and Leprechaun's attacking his wife. So what does O'Grady do?
Well, he shoots him.
Sounds about right.
Yep, he shoots him.
Uh-huh.
He shoots him, and we, as he gets shot, we learn that Leprechaun kind of like warns him, like, "Yo, bro, don't worry, I'll be back." Like, it doesn't, it won't take very long.
Mm-hmm.
So we get this great scene where O'Grady lifts up Warwick Davis and like tosses him in a box.
Just a random crate in the basement.
Yeah, he nails it down.
Uh-huh.
And meanwhile, like you still hear like Warwick Davis complaining the entire time, even though he's still technically dead at this point.
Yeah.
Like I guess his consciousness keeps yelling at him,
Uh-huh.
and he whips out a four-leaf clover out of his pocket and puts it on top of the box.
Mm-hmm. And it's at this point the movie establishes that four-leaf clovers are Leprechaun's kryptonites, which four-leaf clover brings more luck, and the Leprechaun's whole thing is that he generates luck. So I guess it's some sort of luck paradox where they both kind of suck each other into a luck black hole, possibly. Once again, I don't think that's quite canon to the way Irish people were told growing up, but hey, I'm only half Irish, so I've never heard of that.
Maybe they hide those stories from us so we don't know when the leprechauns attack.
That's true. Just like in South Korea, the whole country is underground, and we have to promise not to tell anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a good thing we don't have many listeners. So, so we got that right there, and Mr. O'Grady traps him in the box, put the four-leaf clover on top of it, and then he decides to go upstairs to light the entire house on fire to destroy the leprechaun, because at this point, he's going for broke. He doesn't care anymore. His wife's dead. He's got his pot of gold. He'll be fine. So he goes on up, and there's this really awkward scene where he tries to light a match, and then is it a heart attack? Is it chest pains? Is it a bad
I think
case?
it's a heart attack. I think it's supposed to be that he's overexerting himself when he gets a heart attack.
Yeah, I mean, he's an old Irish guy who is obviously an alcoholic. Yay, stereotypes. And he collapses to the floor as the match goes out, and he is not able to light the house on fire. So the leprechaun remains trapped in the crate for quite some time.
10 years to be exact.
Yeah, 10 years to be exact. Now, this crate right there, it's established that the leprechaun does have powers. Like, there's a scene later on in the movie where he just breaks right through a fence, Roadrunner style. Couldn't he have just knocked out a side of the crate? Like, I understand he couldn't knock out the top of the crate, but, I mean, there weren't four-leaf clovers to the side.
I think just a four-leaf clover on top of it makes the crate sacred.
Okay, good to know.
Maybe. Because the nails, the iron nails are in it.
Uh-huh.
I think there's something about, like, iron. I don't know. In one of the later movies, at least, they talk about iron being an issue with him.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe that's the thing.
So there's another layer to this leprechaun lore. Good to know.
Oh, of course there is.
Uh-huh.
Though I do wonder. So we cut to 10 years later,
Yeah.
and I just think to myself, that clover has to have decayed by then. Like, also, somebody must have found that box at some point, right? Like,
Yeah.
come on. Come on.
Well, I mean, it is North Dakota where this takes place in. And I love the early 90s four-leaf clover song that's playing. I should have looked it up exactly what it is, but the lyrics are all about getting lucky and finding a clover and going back to the homeland. But it's in this very Spin Sisters or Spin Doctors kind of tone, and it's very early 90s, very much dating the movie at this point, where we're introduced to our one main character and her dad, Jennifer Aniston, and who is Tori, and her dad, who is the dad? What's the dad's name? Not Ozzy.
All of my notes just call her Jennifer. I never fucking paid attention to her name.
Come on, Murphy. No, not Murphy. JD. I'm just going to call him Dad because I don't want to associate him with Scrubs. So
let's call him Zach Braff.
We can call him Zach Braff. Let's do that. So we've got Jennifer Aniston as Tori, who is a spoiled 90s debutante teenage girl.
How old is she? Is she a teenager? Like, I couldn't fucking tell.
Yeah.
How old is she listening?
That was literally the next comment I was going to make. Yeah, like, she acts as a teenager. She's really, she dresses like a teenager. She's really into her cell phone. No, not cell phone. Portable. They call it a portable in this movie because it's set in 1993. No, I really do think they were going for a teenager angle on this one. I don't know how old she was during this movie, and I don't feel like doing the math right now, but Jennifer was definitely not a teenager at this time.
Let's see. She was born in 1969, and this came out in 1993. So if I math correctly, and I'm not going to, she was a 70, so she was 22?
24.
24, all right.
Yes, uh-huh.
All right,
and it
so
was probably filmed before then, so she was probably, 22, 23-ish, so.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, not that long, but still, she doesn't look the part.
No.
And her character kind of goes through a arc of this movie. Not 100%, but it kind of does, too. Anyway, so her big drive right there is she's really disappointed that North Dakota is not New Mexico. In fact, there's a joke in there where she says something about the desert and like, I expected it to be a little bit more dry, and the dad says, it's not New Mexico, it's North Dakota. Like, did she honestly think they were going to New Mexico? Like, those are very different.
I couldn't tell.
Those are very, very different parts of the country there, Jennifer. Could you be any more geography challenged? I don't know.
See, I'm not going to lie. In my notes, I wrote down, are they in New Mexico, question mark? I don't know.
Yeah, no, Dad specifically says it's North Dakota, so.
Okay.
Tori and the dad move into a new house, which is a dump, which is also Leprechaun house. How does Tori feel about this new home?
She says that she hates this hick house, and she wants to go to a place where there are malls and hotels. And her father is that, living that kind of like, that life of like, I don't think money's all you need, and he's trying to teach her that life lesson. So she runs away after kind of seeing the house and seeing the condition it's in, and bumps into our male lead, I suppose is what you call him. The guy who, to this day, if you asked me who was in this movie, I would say it's obviously Kevin Bacon. But it's not. I didn't even tell my roommate. I'm like, that's Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Bacon in it. And we watched it. And we're like, nope.
That's not Kevin Bacon.
That's not Kevin Bacon.
Nope, that's Tremors. Ooh, we should do Tremors. Anyway.
Ooh, we should.
So tell me a little bit about Nathan.
Nathan's for you. And he is a painter, part of the Three Guys Who Paint classic team. And he, much like the father, lives this kind of desires this more simple life. When she bumps into him, she tries to give him money, and he basically makes fun of her. Just saying, all you have to do is say sorry, you don't have to try to give me money. And there's this great awkward scene, because she is the kind of afraid of a spider that she sees, and she has this great, like, I don't know what you call this word, but she's like, listen, bud, this is the 90s. Women are equal.
Yeah, okay, so we got our one feminist moment in the entire movie.
It was great. Like, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I forget, he's like, I don't know how many guys are afraid of houses. So and it's like, great banter. And then after this, they're into each other. Basically.
Yeah.
That's how they establish their love.
Yeah, and that's how Tori decides she wants to stay. Because she really, really wants to get into Nathan's pants. So that's that.
The dad even relents. The dad's like, all right, let's go home. She's like, no, it's cool. I'm here.
Yeah, it's fine. Let me just bang this guy and we'll be all set there. And then we also meet our other two contract workers, which are two of my other favorite characters in this movie, Alex and Ozzy. And out of Alex and Ozzy, which one do you think is... I don't know, I started that thought and I really didn't finish it. Describe Alex and Ozzy for me.
All right, well, fucking Alex is an asshole. I hate this kid. This kid pisses me off every fucking thing he says. I feel like he's supposed to be this charming little like kid, like Corey Feldman or something like that, in what's that movie, like Friday the 13th or something. But I hated him. I wanted him to die. He was an asshole. So we have Alex, this kind of kid who his big whole joke is that he's kind of more mature and like has this kind of lingo about him that makes him seem kind of like a professional.
Yeah, and one of his opening lines is saying, hey, I think I could go for a beer. It's a 10-year-old kid. It's just like, haha, played up for laughs. But
Well, at one point, the dad asks, like, hey, can I help you guys out? And he's like, no, man, sorry. With our liability and insurance, we can't actually have anybody else work with us. and it's a funny little shtick. But then, like, this kid is just the most, like, the biggest dick on earth. And then we have Ozzy, who's kind of an older guy who we're told has some kind of disability. And who Alex does not relent on telling him that he has a disability often. And talking about fixing his brain and like, which I think that's supposed to be emotional, like an emotional heart to the story. But no, it just makes me hate this kid even more.
Well, we'll come back to that later about his whole quote-unquote disability. But yeah, Ozzy is our Lenny of the story. He is the, gentle, dim-witted giant who is always causing trouble, but he's got a good heart about it. Mm-hmm. So, that's that.
And Alex has to pick on him.
Yeah, and Alex picks on him all the goddamn time.
Yep.
So, at this point, Ozzy goes into the basement for reasons. I don't exactly remember why he's down there.
Paint, maybe?
Probably paint, yeah. Looking around in the basement, he hears the leprechauns cry for help, and he mistakes them for a little child, which, that's what Mrs. O'Grady did at the beginning of the movie. It's not really his fault. It's the fact that the leprechaun is really good at manipulating people. And once again, 10 years no one was down there? I mean, I know it is rural North Dakota, and there's nothing out there, but I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Seems a little weird.
Yeah. So he brushes the four-leaf clover off the crates, and Leprechaun, Mr. Warwick Davis, is free, and he decides to come on over and intimidate Ozzy a little bit by talking about biting off his ear, looking for his gold. And then we kind of get into this whole big thing where Ozzy comes on out and says, hey, guys, there's a leprechaun. I freed a leprechaun. Leprechaun's going to kill me. He's looking for his gold. Let's all go down and check it out and, figure all that out. And, of course, none of them believe him. Nathan says, come on, Ozzy. Alex is a dick to him. I don't remember exactly what Alex says.
He says, yeah, nobody believes you. You're being an idiot, basically.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, Alex, whatever. So we go on down, and eventually Nathan and Tori says, okay, let's go check it out. And Nathan grabs the stick. And that was one of my moments where I unintentionally laughed out loud, because Ozzy was just like, okay, be careful. And then Nathan just grabs this big stick and says, don't worry, I'm protective. It's a little stick, and it's just, ugh. So they go on down. There's this scene where they kind of wander around, and there was a little bit of a jump scare when they see a rat, but no leprechaun. Mr. Warwick Davis has escaped. So then we keep on going down over where they're still working on the house. They're still flipping it over. And Ozzy sees himself a rainbow. And why don't you continue with this scene?
Oh, yeah. So Ozzy sees a rainbow and, again, it's like, oh, look, there's probably the leprechaun. His gold's probably there. Yeah. And nobody wants to go with him, but Alex is like, all right, fuck it, let's go.
Now, isn't Ozzy terrified of the leprechaun at this point? Like, Leprechaun jumped on him. Leprechaun was terrifying. Leprechaun tried to bite his ear off. Like,
I think he had kind of a mix of, like, childlike wonder, but maybe he's also thinking, if I give the guy back his gold, he'll leave me alone.
I can see that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a good point. I thought that was kind of weird too. I thought he's gonna be like, oh shit, it's a rainbow, let's get out of here or something. But
yeah,
he goes towards it, like I'm off to a flame.
And then Alex just doesn't give a shit, so
he comes along, yeah. And they end up finding it in the back of a car, and it kind of like magically appears there, which I didn't quite get. Like, did you see that the bag just kind of magically like appears?
Yes.
I didn't quite like. Was it hidden, and when they got to it, like it decided they were pure of heart and appeared to them? Like what made it appear?
My question is, why is this leprechaun losing his gold all the goddamn time?
Well, he got it stolen from him. That's that.
Yeah, but I mean, how did the bag get inside the car? I mean, O'Grady...
That's where O'Malley hit it. O'Grady hit it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where he hit it. All right, anyway, continue.
But anyway, yeah. So we go and they find it, and Alex is like, oh man, sick, I can buy comics every week. This is great. And no, sorry, that's what Ozzy says. And Alex is like, no, man, we can get you brain surgery so you're no longer stupid. Which, again, asshole. Yes. Like, I'm sorry. I know that's supposed to be like some, like, kind of like, look at, he's so pure of heart. But no, this kid's fucking using this as a lie to get this fucking gold. He doesn't give a shit about Ozzy.
Yes, and minor spoilers for the later of the movie, but yeah, Alex does admit. He's just like, yeah, I know there's no surgery that can cure him, but I'm telling him this to give him hope for the future. And it's just like, dude, you're not doing him any favors. He's got to know exactly what he is so he can deal with it. Lying to him about what he is, especially when he can't fully comprehend or understand it. Dude, Alex, Dick.
Also, fucking no, I don't even believe that. When he told fucking Nathan that, I was like, no, bitch, you're just saying that to save your ass.
Yeah,
you didn't don't say that. Like you didn't either. You didn't know that was a thing, or you just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like
now,
Alex is the worst.
I really do think in an alternate ending they do keep the Leprechaun gold and they do buy the surgery for him, and the entire epilogue is just this Flowers of Algernon thing for Ozzy, where he just learns to be smart and then realizes the futility of being smart and realizes he was better blissful and ignorant, and he goes ahead and they lay flowers out for that rat they found in the basement. So anyway,
there we go.
So yeah, they decide to go on in and fight over it. They're really, really excited about it. And Ozzy does what Ozzy does. And what happens to that gold piece that Ozzy has?
He eats it.
How?
So he goes to bite it to prove that it is real, and in the process, swallows it.
And I'm blaming that on Alex. I don't know how, but I'm blaming it on that Alex.
Everything's Alex's fault.
Everything is fucking Alex's fault. So yeah. So, plot point, yes, Ozzy does have a piece of gold in his pocket, or in his stomach, which is not digesting and just kind of staying in there for the while. So, we've got that right there, and then we cut back to Tori and Michael painting, and this is our ghost pottery scene, except with
That's exactly
pottery.
what I wrote down.
Except instead of pottery, it's painting. They're watching the brush strokes together, and he's talking about the most correct way to paint a house, and it's not even good painting.
No, it's so bad. They did such a bad job.
They're going at a diagonal angle, and it's not doubling up on the layers, and oh god,
and it's this glaring red too. What the fuck are you painting?
Yes.
There's some weird bright blue. There's red. There's white. What is this house gonna look like?
It's gonna look like a barn. That's what it's gonna look like.
Jesus. You're in a fucking dusty, wooded area. What are you doing?
So yeah, Tori and Michael are getting the hots for each other, and so we got that right there. At one point, Michael says the quote, Tori says the quote. Michael says, "Hey, could you go ahead and get that pan of cake from the truck? Can of paint from the truck?" And Tori goes, "Oh, you just watch how a pro gets a can of paint."
Well, also, I love it. They're we're out of paint, and the only red paint you see them do is that one fucking that one fucking slat. What did you guys do with all the paint?
Yes.
What the fuck?
So Tori goes on over to the truck, and Michael goes off to the side. It's very clearly he's nowhere around her. Even just spatial awareness. It's... Dude. So Leprechaun comes in under the truck where they got the paint, and Leprechaun starts stroking Tori's leg. And
yeah.
Tori loves it. She is just like, "Oh, Michael, I didn't realize that you felt that way. Oh, please keep doing it." And then she looks behind, and Michael is back at the house. So she's just like, "Oh, shit, what is rubbing my leg?" So she freaks out. Leprechaun slashes at her and leaves 3 bright blood marks right on her leg. So another great Michael moment at this point is she starts screaming. Everyone rushes over, figures out what's going on. And Tori goes, "I thought that was you rubbing my leg, Michael." And Michael goes, "And you're okay with it?"
Yeah, I think, you let me?
You let me? You'd be okay with that? Oh, okay. He's more concerned about getting his dick wet than the fact that someone attacked her.
Maybe another great line where they're like, "Are you sure it wasn't an animal?" And she's like, "I know what it feels like when a man caresses my leg." And the father's like, "You do?"
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That was a good one. So we go on over, and then we start hearing a kitten. Obviously, it's the Leprechaun voice imitating, and the dad comes on over and realizes, hey, that sound's coming from this tree stump. So he reaches his hand all the way inside there. It's the Leprechaun. Leprechaun bites his hand. He pulls his hand out. He's got this bloody, mangled hand. Yeah,
He deserved it.
Yeah.
Don't never stick your hand in a fucking hole. Even if there's a cat, like especially if there's a cat in there.
Yeah, the only time that's ever worked out is in Silent Hill 2, when you reached your hand inside the hole and you got a can of fruit juice for the stupidest puddle in the entire game.
There you go.
But I digress. So at this point, they're just like, all right, animals are attacking, shit's going down, we got to get everyone to the hospital. So they get inside the truck, and all of our people go on over to the hospital. And the leprechaun decides to follow in the most leprechaun-y of ways, which is...
A tricycle.
A tricycle. Tiny little tricycle, like he's part of the circus, just going around in a circle.
And they just fast forward that footage, and it just flies.
Moving on over. All right. So Ozzy and Alex, why don't you talk about the pawn shop scene? Because Ozzy and Alex at this point... Yeah, you just go right ahead.
Yeah. So they get to the hospital, and basically Nathan and Jennifer and them go inside. They're like, we're gonna take care of the dad. You guys, go meet us at this place for lunch or dinner, where the fuck time it is.
Yeah.
But Ozzy and Alex at this point are like, let's go meet this appraiser and figure out how much this gold's worth. So they go to this guy, and he's like, hey man, if you guys just let me keep like a piece of it overnight, I can figure out how much it costs, and I'll get back to you. So Ozzy and Alex leave, and you can notice that this guy lives in a fucking basement, apparently, in like the worst set ever. It's a really bad set. It's like one room that's just like apparently like it's a basement that has a desk in it. And this guy goes over to his bureau, like it's like a fucking thing of drawers, and opens up this one giant book that has gold pictures in it, apparently. And he's leafing through that when he hears like a knock at the door or something, or he hears maybe the laughing of the leprechaun. So he's like, all right, let me put this gold in my little safe here. So he goes to open up his safe, and out pops Warwick Davis, and he gives him some sweet limericks, I guess is what you call it, and he bites him in the leg, which makes him fall over.
Yeah, and pawn shop owner is crawling away, just going, what the fuck is this leprechaun? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, gold piece? Oh, you mean this gold piece? Here, I'll give it back to you. But Leprechaun's not satisfied with that, and Leprechaun decides to come on over with the most destructive weapon he can think of in this pawn shop, which is
a pogo stick.
A pogo stick. Fucking
pogo
stick.
He has a great song. Like, this old man, he played pogo on his lung.
And then just pierces his lung right there. Bam. Look at that. And then also, our leprechaun finds a tiny little car in the pawn shop as well, and he upgrades from his tricycle to his tiny car.
What? And I wrote in my notes. I have a question here for you.
Yeah.
Is the leprechaun dumb, or is he just like doesn't give a shit about his own rules?
I think he just doesn't give a shit about his own rules, because obviously, I mean, our main characters are pretty dumb, but I think he's having fun with the chase. I think that's really what it boils down to. Like, what do you constitute as being dumb in this scene?
Well, like, he comes out, and he's like, okay, so, he falls into the pawn shop. He knows they have the gold.
Yeah.
They give him this one piece of gold. He's there for that. The guy takes one piece of gold. He gives it back to the leprechaun. And the leprechaun says, like, never steal a gold from a leprechaun. And it's like, this guy didn't steal gold from you. You saw this transaction. You saw the guy, here's the gold. Find how much it's worth. Okay, he gave the gold back to you when you said it was yours. Like, then he murders the guy. Like, this guy did everything right. Like, come on, like Leprechaun. If you just want to fuck people up. But don't pretend to be self-righteous here.
Yeah, I think he is just kind of a chaotic neutral in that aspect right there, where he is driven by his one singular purpose to have all the gold. Also, the dude was in a crate for 10 years. He's probably not all mentally there. I mean, I don't know how that would affect the Leprechaun race, but I'm willing to cut Warwick Davis some slack. I don't know about you, but I am.
Well, and we also learn here that at this point, the leprechaun has exactly 100 gold coins.
Yes.
Like, does every leprechaun have its own assigned gold that is specific to them? Like, can he get more gold? Could he get 102? Could he keep a gold ring?
Yeah.
Like, where does this come from? Like,
what happens if two leprechauns bump into each other on the street and their bags spill all over? How could they tell which bag of gold is Leprechaun 1 and which bag of coins is Leprechaun 2? Like, they all look identical.
And he mentions that having gold gives him power. Does he have is 100 coins 100% his power level? Could he go beyond that? Could he all might go 100% beyond? Like, where is this? Is it 50% gold if he has 50% power? Like, is it hit points?
Isn't there a line in there too about being he's been trapped for 10 years, so he doesn't have all of his powers back just yet. You know what?
I think he says he doesn't have his gold, so he doesn't have his powers. He needs to have his gold.
Let's talk about Leprechaun's powers right now.
Okay.
Because we really haven't even talking about that right there. Okay, so Leprechaun's powers, he is basically a cartoon.
Yep.
He, at one point, smashes through a fence and leaves a Wile E. Coyote-style imprint on the fence. It's ridiculous. He is able to hotwire and get these tiny cards. He likes eating things. He likes biting things. And then he's also got this weird telekinesis ability.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he can teleport sometimes when he feels like it.
Yeah, whenever he feels like it, he goes back and forth. Like, he's basically a cartoon. He is basically... I saw Spider-Verse fairly recently, and he reminded me a lot of just Peter Porker. Just, especially that skateboarding scene later on in the movie.
Oh, God.
It's just like, dude. Yeah, so whether he's fucking with them or he's actually dumb, I think, it's a Jerry from Tom and Jerry. He just enjoys fucking with them. That's what it is. Also, Jerry's an asshole as well. Alex and Jerry are both assholes.
There we go.
So, yeah. All right. So that's our Leprechaun. We cut on back to Tori and Michael in the restaurant waiting for Ozzy and Alex while Dad is in the hospital. And is this the point where the dad is not back in the movie for the rest of the movie?
Yeah.
Like, he
never comes back.
I just realized that. Yeah, because Michael comes back and
I forgot the dad was in the movie until I watched it. I was like, wait, there's a dad in this? What happens to him?
Yeah. Holy shit, I just realized that. Okay, so I guess JD was just on set for that day, and then he had more stuff to do, like...
Gotta get full scrubs. Garden State.
John Satterfield. Okay, so hang on. This joke is gonna nail. He was on set for one day, and then he needed to go film Models, Inc. and McGee and Me, which also happened in 1993.
There we go. He was a busy guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, he was on Baywatch too. Huh.
Oh, I can see it. He has that face. I see it.
Yeah. Matlock. He was on Matlock.
The fuck's that?
It's a detective show back in the 90s.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Well,
I only know because Abe Simpson referenced it a lot. All right. So anyway, they're in the restaurant scene right there, and we have a
great awkward scene between him and her. Where Aniston is basically like, this town sucks and I don't eat this shitty food. And
I want an Evian water. That is one quote she directly says. I want an Evian water.
And then he just gives her a cup of water and she's like, fuck you.
And this is the other one too. Like, it's the weird... They make Michael out to be such a chauvinist.
Wait, Nathan?
Yeah, Nathan. Is it Nathan?
Yeah.
No, it's Michael. Is it Nathan?
Nathan.
It's Nathan.
Totally Nathan.
Why do I have Michael on these notes? Whatever.
You're watching the wrong movie.
I was for that 1 second.
Wait, am I watching the wrong movie? No, his name's totally Nathan. I wrote down Nathan like 8 times.
I'm looking at my notes. Nathan is also written down like 8 times. It's just that one specific instance in my notes right here where it says Michael.
Is there even, let's see, is there a character named Michael? There's not a single Michael. Wait. Nope, not a single Michael.
Michael. All right. Yeah. So... Yeah, we got that right there. And then Michael...
Fuck you.
Nathan says, Yo, Tori, you look a little skinny. You should eat something besides a salad. And then he takes off her shoe after she goes on her whole vegetarian tirade about, hey, I don't eat meat because I don't want to hurt those animals, blah, blah, blah. And he literally just reaches down, takes off her shoe without her noticing.
Yep, like a pro.
Like a pro. And I'm just like, okay. God damn it, I want to keep calling him Michael. God damn it, Nathan. So yeah, that's that right there. But it's an awkward scene.
Well, I kind of like it though. His little where he's like, okay, fine, you don't eat animals, but like you're wearing animal, deal with it. Like it's kind of it's kind of like a shitty thing to do, but it's kind of funny for the time. I feel like.
But where is it in this place of this movie? We're in a movie about a leprechaun, a killer leprechaun. Like,
it's also an environmentalist movie. God. Leprechauns are green earth, green peace.
And it's a movie about the dangers of improper house painting.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I learned. Uh-huh.
If she hadn't wasted all that paint, they shouldn't have to go back to the car. All those things would never have happened.
That's right. That's very much right. So at this point, we get our...
We get our
Cop
next
scene.
kill? Yeah, all right.
We got our cop scene. Now, you go ahead with this one. Oh.
All right. So we see our Leprechaun driving the toy car that he stole from the pawn shop. And he's going really fast, and we cut to a literal cop eating a donut in a car. So clearly
Deputy
they're doing a great
Trippett.
job.
I love that name.
That's his name?
Deputy Trippett.
Like, and this guy pulls him over, and for some reason, like even my roommate was like, "Wait, why is the Leprechaun pulling over?" Because the Leprechaun does. He turns on his lights and chases him down, and the Leprechaun is also towing behind him like all these toys and shit in his car. And this like cop is just a complete asshole. Like, you don't feel bad for him because like he's just a complete dick. And the Leprechaun grabs his face and like squeezes it because he's being a dick to him.
Yeah.
And basically the cop runs away. And the Leprechaun gives chase. And we get this great kind of scene of the Evil Dead kind of vision where you get like the camera kind of, running through the woods after him. And,
do you know how that point of view shot was established, what they did with that?
What was it, a 2x4 and then a...
Yep, and they put the camera on top of it, and then you had Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell just running alongside each other.
Yeah. They did such great stuff with that movie.
God, it was great.
Awesome.
They sold out like all of the red dye and cough syrup in like the tri-state area. It was insane, or the tri-county area.
Wait, have you read If Chins Could Kill?
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
So good. Anyway, so we got our cop, Officer Trippett, or Deputy Trippett. I'm sorry, he's not an officer just yet. He hasn't earned it.
Of course he hadn't. And did you notice the entire time he's running away, he's like, okay. He just keeps saying, okay. Like, I noticed because I always have the subtitles on when I watch these movies. So it's just over and over again. Okay. As he's running away from this leprechaun. And again, this is when the fucking leprechaun starts teleporting. This guy rides a fucking tricycle to the mental hospital, but apparently he can teleport anywhere he wants. I don't know.
Yeah. He's a cartoon character.
Basically. And they keep running around, the guy gets away, and eventually collapses against a tree. And he starts, again, laughing. He's like, the cop's like, ha, 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 I think I got away from him. And then the leprechaun immediately drops on his head and snaps his neck, which is kind of a lame ending to, the build-up to that kill.
Yeah.
Why did we even, why was that even a thing? That was literally just to add a kill to the movie.
Yeah. And it wasn't even a creative kill, too. It was just kind of like you dead.
Yeah, it was sad. And, So, the leprechaun, after dealing with that, he makes his way back to the house and now decides to go through the house looking for the gold. And we get to see him kind of rip apart all the cupboards, and he pulls out his knockoff Lucky Charms, which I think you had a story about. Yes.
So this is pulled directly from IMDb that I'm going to pull up right now, and it seems fairly valid. So, this scene obviously required Lucky Charms to give proof. The leprechaun's kind of rummaging through the cabinets, and then he pulls out a cereal box, and then he just kind of throws it away after taking some bites out of it. Lucky Charms gave them permission to film the scene, and then once they saw the movie, they decided, that's not going to happen anymore. So they had to refilm it, and they replaced the brand name with a very obvious spoof, and I wrote it down. Lucky Clovers. They call it Lucky Clovers. And later on in the movie, they changed a line from "Your luck just ran out" to "Fuck you, Lucky Charms" as a fuck you to General Mills. The more you know. Do.
And so after that scene, we got a weird transition. The weirdest, worst transition ever. That kind of the screen flips over to the next scene transition that you can do in fucking PowerPoint.
Yes.
It's just great.
Budget of $1 million, guys.
You got to use transitions when you can get them. I'm sure back then it was magical. But then Jennifer Aniston and them come home, and they find a mess, and they're like, it could have been a bear. Meanwhile, all these fucking shoes are on top of the table. And so they're like, all right, that's kind of weird. There's shoes on the table, but apparently it was a bear. And we get a cut to an owl, and then a cut back to them cleaning.
Yeah.
Or the cleaning is finished, so it's a great, great transition.
There was another great Nathan scene where he hands Latoria a broom and he says, "You know how to work one of these, right?" Just dude, you're such a dick. Not as much of a dick as Alex, but you're such a dick.
It's clearly flirting back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's how it's middle school flirting where you basically just rip into the girl as much as you can and then she'll want to rip into your pants,
Wait,
you gotta be
alpha.
Dating? You gotta be alpha man.
But anyway, see what happens.
There is one more scene in there too where I think it's Ozzy. He says, "We're like really scared, okay." And when he said that, like the tone and dialect he put on there sounded exactly like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. And I wrote that in there.
That's awesome.
That's it. That's all I got to say about that.
Dude, this would be a great Scooby-Doo movie. Can we just have the Mystery Inc. come into contact with them? That'd be so good.
Chickies.
That'd be so good. Sequel.
Yeah, Fred would definitely be the one that stuck his hand in there.
Oh, yeah.
And get his, inside the tree trunk. All right.
Anyway, so we get, like, while they're hanging out there, I guess, I don't know, like, why the tricycle bell is for some reason on the table, but the tricycle bell from before is on the table and it starts ringing, but nobody's touching it. So Nathan kind of hears it out back, so he goes to the kitchen, and he goes outside, and somehow he gets caught in a bear trap. I didn't quite, because it gets, like, on his leg. It's not just, like, on his foot. It's, like, on his leg. I don't know how he managed that. But basically, the leprechaun runs up to him, and we just, like, kind of taunts him, and, like, whips out maybe a little hatchet and tries to hit him, but is terrible at it. And this is, like, one of the best parts in the movie, because Nathan he has a flashlight, and he starts beating him with the flashlight. And, like, all fear, this neck-snapping, teleporting creature, as it just gets beaten with the flashlight, and then I think Jennifer Aniston runs out and starts hitting him with, like, a bag or something, and then it's, like, start game beating this little creature.
Yeah, at this point, the leprechaun says something like, and I guess this has kind of happened before in the movie, but Leprechaun says, "You can't hurt me, you can't hurt me." So I guess it's invulnerable to pain or something like that.
So it's just, like, annoying?
Yeah, I guess, because he doesn't really care that he's getting the shit beaten out of him. But yeah,
well, he's also not, like, fighting back. Like, he's not, like, winning.
Like, so I don't know, once again, is he dumb, or is he just a cartoon character?
We'll never know. But then Nathan, kind of gets his footing and shoots him and sends him flying off into a bush. While Ozzy goes to try to call the police and tells him the leprechaun's attacking, and the police just like, "Nah, you're an idiot and don't care," which is great. So they do that. They get the bear trap off of him.
Oh, hang on. Ozzy says, "Hey, there's a leprechaun attacking us. Call the police, send the army, send the Navy, Marines, whatever it takes. We need everyone out here."
And we do get, like, a nice little scene where, like, the cops, like, the police have that little kind of nice scene where they're like, "Hey, it's Ozzy's a sweet kid," but sometimes he kind of, which, like, it's nice, but also disbelieving of a person is not appropriate just because they have a disability.
Yeah.
But
I mean, this movie is not above misogyny. This movie is not above, I don't know. The only thing really it is respectful towards in this movie is the fact that Warwick Davis has dwarfism and he's a leprechaun, and I don't feel like they don't make any short jokes. They don't make any pipe jokes on that.
Yeah.
I mean, the leprechaun is a legitimate threat throughout the entire movie, so he's a very much an equal opportunity killer. It's cool.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they decide to start leaving the home and getting the hell out of there. And they go ahead and they do that. And Leprechaun, first off, the truck won't start. And Alex goes on over, and Alex pops open the hood, and Leprechaun is in the hood.
Oh, yeah.
And that is foreshadowing to the fourth movie. Or fifth movie.
Fifth movie, yep.
Yep. So they all scramble back into the cabin of the trunk, and the leprechaun breaks through the windshield, and Ozzy fights him off with a paintbrush. Tori decides to use the cigarette lighter to destroy to kick the leprechaun back. And I wrote down in my notes right here, it's a really awkward scene because Warwick Davis takes the cigarette lighter, or Jennifer Aniston sticks it on his nose, but Warwick Davis, like, takes his hand and presses it further onto his nose as it's burning him. Like, he doesn't immediately try to pull it off. He's just like, "Oh, God, this really hurts. I'm going to press it down more." Which, I guess he can feel pain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, the hint a couple times it fires is apparently bad for him, so...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and that's how they get him in the end. So we got that right there. Leprechaun goes on over, and then he goes into the barn, and then he comes back out with a go-kart and just flips the shit out of him.
I do love how he comes out the go-kart with a pitchfork on the front of it.
Yes.
And instead of stabbing into the vehicle, it just flips it over. It legitimately flips it. Like, he doesn't we see no impact on his part. It just he touches it and it flips over.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
There's hydraulics on there, and I want the scene of him setting up the setting up the pitchfork and, putting all that together and welding it while Push It to the Limit plays in the background, and we get a little montage. So
that'd been awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes over and finds the car, and they like Scooby-Doo snuck out of there. So he's like, "Where'd you guys go? Apparently, I can teleport and find you anywhere else." But
and they're all poking their heads over from the. They're all poking their heads from the top of the tree, and they're just like, "Do you think they sees us?" Yeah, it's very Scooby-Doo.
And then, again, showing his threat, they all just decide to just run past him. Like, they'll run past him back to the house. And he gives chase, and then they close the door in his hand, and he ends up using his little magical hand powers. His hand kind of climbs back up the door and opens it for him, and then he reattaches it. So we got a nice little scene there. Which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah. So we got that right there. And they're all hiding in the house, and Ozzy reveals that they have the last piece of the gold inside his stomach, and Ozzy at this point is trying to be the heroic sacrifice. He's just like, guys, this is all my fault. If I didn't swallow it because I'm so dumb, I would have gone ahead, or we wouldn't be in this mess.
Oh, no, not there yet.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Ozzy reveals they have the bag of gold. They haven't revealed that's in the stomach just yet. And Tori is the one who decides, I'll go out there. Nathan, I had to pause on that name for a second. Nathan is hurt from the bear trap, so he hands Tori a gun, and he goes, "You ever used one of these before?" And Tori just goes, "Nope."
I love that.
She leaves.
My notes say most badass nope ever with a gun.
Oh God, yeah.
And this is also where we got that scene where they try to do the emotional thing where Alex is just like, we're going to use it to fix Ozzy's brain. And my notes literally say, what a fucking lying prick.
Yeah, fuck Alex.
I apparently really, really hated Alex.
Oh, God, no, he's so hateable. He's so punchable. So she decides to go to the well where the Ozzy and Alex hid the gold before, brings the bucket back up. They see the bucket right there. They see the bag, and then she takes it, and Leprechaun shows up immediately. And
he fucking teleports. Like his veins appear, his skeleton appears, and he appears. Like, is that what he does every time? Like, is that his thing?
Yeah. I guess it goes by Jason rules, where like you're assuming he teleports, but obviously they would never show that to break suspension of disbelief. But yeah,
and they're like, no, here's him teleporting right here. Boom.
So Jennifer Aniston gives him the gold, but he doesn't just take the gold. He like telekinesis it into his hand. And she's just like a foot away. Like he could have easily just reached out a little bit more. But
he had to show off to the ladies.
He's just like, my powers are returning.
Yes. And he kisses her, doesn't he? Like kisses her on the leg or something?
Yeah, something like that. And then he says, okay. And then she goes and she runs back in and says, okay, we're good. Leprechaun's got his gold. We're all safe. Then we cut back to the Leprechaun sitting on the log they hid behind before.
No, he goes all the way fucking back to the car where the gold was hidden in, as if he knew it was there.
Oh shit, that's right.
He's in that old ass abandoned car. He goes all the way back to it. Like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, I guess this is a good place to put gold.
Yeah, this is a good place to count the gold, and he counts every single piece, and he counts it really slowly, like 1, 2, 3, and then we spend 30 minutes of just him counting these gold pieces. I guess they need to extend the runtime somehow, but eventually he realizes, wait a second, my gold is gone. I got one missing piece. They still have my gold.
Yes.
And he decides to come on back and kick some ass.
Oh,
so this is when Leprechaun wages war on Christmas by sneaking in through the chimney. He gets shot by...
No, he comes to the fridge.
Oh, yeah, he comes to the fridge.
They go to get ice on that for...
Yes.
Yeah.
And he teleports inside the fridge and comes on up. There's another wonderful Scooby-Doo scene with the cabinets.
Oh, dude... I love the line. So he gets into the cabinets, right? And we know what's going to happen because we've seen these movies before. But Jennifer Aniston just goes, "Oh my god, he's in the cabinets!" As if it was like a fucking like ventilation system, and he was going to like be all over the house. Like, no, guys, these are 4 wooden boxes attached to the ceiling. Like, theoretically, he can't go anywhere. Like,
yes.
Like, just walk over to the side and shoot through all of them at once or something. Like, like she has so much terror about him being in the fucking cabinet. I'm like, great, let's just run the opposite direction away from him. If we know he's in the cabinets, run away. Like, Jesus.
But yeah, like they do this whole thing where she opens up the cabinets and then Nathan shoots or points the gun inside the cabinet and like, nope, not that one. Let's try this one. Nope, not that one. Let's try this one. Nope, not that one. Well, where is he? Gosh, there has to be a better way.
And we get it. We get the greatest scene ever because Nathan goes over to the last one and points his gun, and then the leprechaun reaches his hand from underneath the cabinet below, like underneath the countertop, and grabs the balls.
Yes.
And gives him a nice little squeeze.
And I'm so thankful that we still only have one episode where we have to talk about severed penises. I'm still very, very happy about it. We have one episode with pieces where the very climax or the very end of the movie is a man getting completely, his penis gets torn to shreds. And then we also have a lot of dog penis in Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, but I don't think there's any other penis in any of the other episodes we've done. I mean, there's a lot of phallic imagery in our Lost episode of Alien Covenant, but that's about it.
That's true.
Yeah. All right.
And actually, so here in my notes, I have to talk about something that I meant to talk about earlier.
Yes.
So in my notes, a couple times, I have the phrase, Jennifer Aniston's fucking shorts. Because
Yes.
her shorts in this movie confuse the fuck out of me. Like, and apparently it's not just me. If you Google search Jennifer Aniston shorts, there's a Facebook group dedicated to them.
Okay, so is it the high waistness of it? Is the floral print of it?
They're these jean shorts,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of cut off at her crotch, and they had this weird like red piping down the line of the crotch, across the pockets. There might be some weird cutout of like a white owl on them. I can't quite tell. There's like a patch with like little stars on it, and then kind of mid thigh down, there is a like fish pattern with like a black background. It's like it's the weirdest. I could not stop staring at them. Like they're the weirdest, like most 90s shorts on earth. And like, I'm so glad that I'm not the only person who's noticed them because there's a Facebook group dedicated to them. That was created. Let's see, when was it created? Created in 2016.
15 people who like it.
That's great. Jennifer Aniston's shorts in the Leprechaun movie. I'm gonna actually like it right now. So, I just liked it. We're great because this is ridiculous. These shorts are. I'm so like I maybe I just have I don't know. Maybe I'm just focused on weird things, but I could not stop being baffled every time they appeared on screen.
Okay, so I'm reading this article from Screen Crush right now that says that there are flowered exercise shorts under short jean shorts. So she's wearing layers.
So I thought that's what it was too. But when she turned around, the jean shorts, the jeans appear again. Like they kind of meld into the exercise shorts at one point.
Okay,
and those
so
are not flowers; they're totally fish. They are fish.
They are fish.
Look,
I could definitely see
and the jean seams go down the back to the side.
Yeah.
What are these? Who designed these? Were these specially made? Were these something you could buy?
Does she change shorts later on?
Are there people who cosplay her and spend a lot of time focusing on these shorts?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. Man. I don't know.
Like, oh my god, every angle you look at, there's this weird shit everywhere. Like, I feel like the costume designer, they're just like, make some shorts for her, and she just like fucking went balls to the wall. So bought everything they had in Joann's and tried to put it on her pants.
Yeah, no, the costume designer, obviously this was their big break, and they wanted to really be noticed and go all out. And you know what? There's a Facebook group for 15 people, 16 people now that like it. So,
yep.
You know, I'd say mission accomplished, costume designer, whoever you are.
We're a great
God bless
community.
you. Yeah.
And like even on the back, she turns around. There's like a floral print. There's like a pocket butt kind of thing, and there's like a floral print is half of it. Then there's some like yellow thing, and the other butt cheek has some like red thing on it. Like what is going on? What are these shorts?
I am saving this picture when we post this episode to Facebook. That's going to be the only picture.
Thank God.
I'm just going to put a whole bunch of question marks right around it, and that'll be that. All right.
All right. Sorry, I just that I could. Oh, it was like I'm even kind of high watching it, but like that's all I could focus on.
All right.
Anyway, after that.
So anyway, where were we?
So now is when he rages war on Christmas and pops down the chimney.
Yes. He's got this amazing scene where they're at the end of the hallway, and it's like a T-shaped hallway, and he kind of goes back and forth on his skateboard, and like they're shooting at him over and over again, like it's some sort of duck hunt game. And
he says, "Diddly diddly dee, a leprechaun is me."
Yeah, we know. So eventually, at this point, I don't know. Maybe I missed this point in the movie right there, but at some point they realize that this is the old Grady house, and old Grady is still alive.
Yeah, I assumed he was dead. That's always a surprise to me every time I see this movie.
Yeah. And I don't know how the characters find out about it. Like, I honestly don't
Oh,
remember.
Nathan knows. Nathan just like
Okay.
knows. Like he was
Okay.
like, oh man, okay, like Mr. O'Grady knows. Okay, let's go talk to him. Because they're like, Mr. O'Grady knows how to kill the leprechaun. Why do we know that he knows how to kill the leprechaun? We don't. But okay.
That works.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, so Jennifer Aniston, fuck names, I'm just going with Jennifer Aniston, so decides to head away, flee the house, and head towards the nursing home. And the leprechaun chases her on his third mode of transportation, 4 if you count the go-kart, rollerblades.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess my favorite cinematography shot in this entire movie is when he's chasing her and just kind of loses control of his rollerblades and crashes into a fence. And once again, we get this Wile E. Coyote kind of imprint on there. And I'm just like, okay, we've gone full comedy at this point. This is wonderful.
Oh, and actually, is it all right if we just rewind just a little bit?
Uh-huh.
So Jennifer Aniston steals the car to get away. And
Yes.
the way they get to this car, the way they get her to the car without the leprechaun noticing, is they all kind of come out together, and they have this box full of shoes. And they just start tossing shoes because, as you know, a leprechaun cannot resist polishing shoes, given that they were cobblers in their past lives. So we get this great scene of him just running back and forth, picking up a shoe, polishing it for 2 seconds, dropping it, running over to the next shoe, picking it up and polishing it. And it's ridiculous. And it's so fucking weird and awkward. And then she just drives away while he's distracted with the shoes because, he can't help himself.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, like, I feel like they could have used that shoe thing in a lot of different ways later on, like to set a trap for him, if apparently he just cannot resist.
Yeah.
But he's basically like a dog. Like if you were to have a dog and throw him different toys, and the dog kind of picks one up and runs to the next one, it was like that exact same thing.
Yeah, when they're hunting from the 4-leaf clover, they could just go ahead and be like, okay, let's toss him a shoe. And then when he gets bored or shoes it all, just toss him another shoe. Just keep going over and over again.
And like, I feel like if you have a very dirty, soiled shoe, it'll take him longer to clean it.
Yeah, or what you can do is, he can clean the shoe, and then he'll put it to the side, and then you toss another shoe about 10 feet away. He'll run over to that shoe, clean that up, but while he's doing that, you can go back over to the original shoe and just rub it in the dirt. And, Nathan and Ozzy could be on shoe duty, and then Alex and Tori could be on clover duty. And perpetually, that's how you can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
We saw
We
this
would be
game.
really good in surviving a horror movie.
Well, we could at least survive, like, leprechauns.
Yeah, we're fucked if it's Jason.
Yeah, Jason, we're just...
Anyway.
We just keep running. We'll just keep running. We've been running a lot. We good.
Yeah. I would say with a power walk. Like, we can just power walk faster than him.
That's true. No need to tire ourselves.
Yep.
He does run sometimes, though, depending on the movie. So, beware.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right.
So, so she heads to the nursing home, and she meets up with O'Grady, and O'Grady says there's only one way to kill a leprechaun. And then he turns around, and it's the leprechaun. And he says, and I'm not going to tell you how to kill me. And we get into our second cartoon part of this movie, Wacky Races, where Leprechaun, is chasing around Jennifer Aniston in this hospital.
In a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair. And, there's tires screeching, smoke's going up. It's Initial D soundtrack running in the 90s. It's, Now, I did have in my notes right here, I don't know about you, but this whole section of this nursing home, the cinematography is really good.
Yeah, it's pretty well done.
I was just like, did they hand the cameraman off to someone else? Because this totally does not fit with the rest of the movie at all. This is so much higher quality than the rest.
Well,
it was weird.
It's the only time we really get movement, too. Because you don't have to have... Because I think they also realize that having Warwick Davis move around too much as, a little person will probably take a lot of kind of the fear out of it. But being able to just have him fly down on a wheelchair probably creates a lot more dynamic scenes.
I guess so, too. But, I remember they use a Dutch angle. They do a lot of zoom-in shots. There's some really, creative camera work in here. And I was really shocked. I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is where they're blowing their load. Sounds good. So Jennifer rushes into the elevator where she meets the real O'Grady, who is hanging upside down, and he tells her the secret to destroy the leprechaun, you need to put a 4-leaf clover. That's the only thing that's going to kill him.
Which, again, I wonder, why was Mr. O'Grady in the fucking elevator? Did the leprechaun literally pick him up and drag him all over there and stuff him up there? I feel like he could have done other things with him. Just, hide underneath the bed.
Yeah.
That was a lot of effort. And also, he's alive still. Why would he keep him alive? He hasn't done that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, yeah. I have nothing to say to that statement because I completely agree.
Whatever. All right, cool. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, the important thing is Alex is a dickhead.
Yep. Alex is a dick. Done.
All right. And then, so after that, armed with the knowledge of how to defeat this leprechaun, they head on back to the house to have our climax of the movie. And how does that fall down? How do those cards lay?
So they go look for a 4-leaf clover in a obviously like there's like a green light on this patch of grass, which is where the clovers are. So they try to find that, and Leprechaun appears behind them and says, "Little girls shouldn't look for 4-leaf clovers." And at this point, she runs away because she runs away and finds the dead cop again. Which at this point, in my notes, I'm just kind of like, why do we keep seeing this dead cop? Like they keep cutting to him, and it's like we know he's dead. Stop cutting to him.
He was not besides his name, he was not a very memorable character at all.
Like really wasn't. And so while she's doing this and running away, we get Alex, who is making his own plan, and he is picking up the bear trap because he's like, I can get him. I'm not afraid. I can do this. So he grabs the bear trap, goes into the barn, and I always hope here that he'll die, but it unfortunately does not happen. And we kind of cut back to Jennifer Aniston, again looking for the clover. She comes back to the same patch. And Ozzy gives us this great line where, you have to believe in 4-leaf clovers. And she gives us this, like, anger, like, look, I believe God. And then she finds it. And my question is, like, do you have to actually believe or just have to say you believe? Is it kind of like that thing with God where it's kind of like, either have to just confess your sins and it doesn't matter if you feel bad about them? Like,
yeah, I'll sin as much as I want. I'll confess later. Whatever.
Like clearly belief is just stating it. It doesn't actually have to be something you actually feel. She finds it. And so the leprechaun attacks Alex. And Ozzy runs in and is like, no, and they kind of, he tries to fight him, and Ozzy's like, yo, bro, I got the gold, like, leave the kid alone, again, foolish decision, let him die, and Ozzy runs away, and the leprechaun runs by him, and kicks Nathan in the leg on his way by, just to, like, be a dick, because Nathan's leg is still hurt from the
bear trap.
Yeah, from the bear trap, and the leprechaun hops on his back, and whips the buckle off of his boot, and starts cutting Ozzy in the face with it. And I'll let you tell how he gets defeated, but I love it. Before he defeats him, Alex runs up and goes, "Don't worry, I'll save you in 1 second."
Just hang in there, buddy.
So how does he take him down? What does our buddy Alex do?
So Alex takes out his slingshots, and he takes out a wad of gum from his mouth, and he merges the 4-leaf clover with the gum and turns it into one big clover paste. Sticks it to his slingshot, aims carefully, looks at the leprechaun, says, "Hey, leprechaun," and then fires a perfect shot.
Whoa, what does he say? What does he say?
Oh, he says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms."
Ooh,
yeah.
Dude, so good.
Yep. So Leprechaun at this point is completely weakened, and he is just, oh my god, and he backs up into the well, and he falls on down. And the day is saved, except, plot twist, the skeleton decides to come back up of the leprechaun and says, "Give me my gold." And I love this, because Nathan just kind of casually walks on over and goes, "Okay," and then just kicks him back down.
Yep.
He's just like, all right, whatever, and just like pushes them right back down into the well, takes out the gasoline, just starts pouring it all over, lights a match, and just tosses it in there. Like, fuck this, I'm done. It's been a long day. Let's grab a beer, everyone.
Yep. And then all the cops show up.
Yeah.
The cops just kind of pull up.
Yeah. And then the Army and the Navy and the Marines, and Ozzy's really, really excited about it all. And
and then basically the credits end there, right? That's what we get. We get one last line from the leprechaun. He says, "I shall not rest until my magic breaks. I shall not rest until I get my magic that breaks my spell." Like, what?
And then they're just like, "Oh, there's no way there's going to be 6 more sequels to this.
Like,
no way."
What is the spell? Is the spell death? Is the spell fire? What is the spell that needs to be broken? I can't remember how the second one starts off. I'll have to watch it again. But great movie.
Yeah, it's definitely leans more towards comedy than horror on this one. Like, I don't know, I was expecting a little bit, like, I was expecting cheese. Mm-hmm. I definitely was, but I was expecting a lot of creative leprechaun kills. I was expecting a few more leprechaun quips.
That's a lot more in the sequel, so we'll get a lot of that.
Yeah, basically, I think what it was I was expecting Nightmare on Elm Street, but with a leprechaun.
Well, this actually is, because Nightmare on Elm Street 1, there aren't as many quips. Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is very basic.
Yeah, but the kills are a lot more crazy. I guess that's what really killed me about this one, because the body count is really 4. We have the old lady falling down the stairs. We have the policeman getting his neck twisted off. We have the pogo stick death, which is kind of creative, I guess. And then we have O'Grady at the very end of the nursing home.
Yeah.
And that's about it. None of them really stand out. None of them are really memorable. And I don't know. I guess I see my slasher films just to see people getting killed in creative ways.
Well, that's why part of me wonders, because it said that they did some reshoots to make it more gory. I wondered if at first it was supposed to be for a younger audience. It was supposed to be kind of like a Gremlins-like film where there's not a lot of death, and the death that is there isn't super shown, and then they kind of reshot. Because the only gory scenes we really get are... Well, actually, the only one we really get is the pogo stick.
Yeah.
But the other ones aren't very gory, so I wonder if they just reshot that one scene.
Everyone else is just, face gets bloodied up or something like that.
Neck crack, it's not really super bad. They could have even cut away for that to make it a younger kind of audience. So I kept kind of wondering if this was originally intended for a younger audience, and they kind of tried to make it a little bit more ballsy to maybe grab an older, teenage crowd.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, yeah, but overall, I thought it was okay. I really like Warwick Davis in the role. I mean, there were definitely some lines that were just so super cheesy, and Jennifer Aniston does a decent job in this movie. Her acting's bad, but it sells it very, very well in terms of the tone they're going for. But yeah, that's that.
Would you watch the sequels? Would you say?
Well, currently I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for Leprechaun 2, and it holds a approval rating of 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think most of them do.
Yes, obviously. So 0% for Leprechaun 2.
I think Back to the Hood had one of the highest ones. Or, no.
0 for Leprechaun 3. 0 for Leprechaun 4 in space. 25 for Leprechaun in the Hood. That was the Renaissance period. And 25 for Leprechaun Back to the Hood. And then Leprechaun Origins, you say to skip that one?
How much? What is this rating, though? I got to know.
Is 0%.
Thank God. Thank God.
And then they don't even have Leprechaun...
Returns?
Wikipedia page for that yet.
Oh. I got to say, so Leprechaun Returns does kind of what Halloween does, where it's a direct sequel. It opens up this weird montage of kind of the Leprechaun dying from the first film, and Ozzy's back in it, and it has Jennifer Aniston's daughter, so it's interesting. It's a different actor instead of Warwick Davis, which is kind of unfortunate. He has a really annoying voice, which I don't get, because I'm pretty sure Warwick Davis is still alive, right?
Yeah, he's still around. He's in Star Wars, actually.
Yeah.
He's one of the minor characters in oh god, what's the goggle lady from Force Awakens?
Oh, yeah, in the Dagobah scene or whatever? No, the Dagobah.
Yeah.
The Canobite.
Yeah, but anyway, he plays a background character in that one, so...
Oh.
Yeah, he's still around, he's still acting, he's still doing his stuff.
Oh, I wish he would have reprised his role, because that would have been sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he just knew his shit, so he didn't want to be in it.
Maybe. Yeah, that's how it goes. All right. So, that is Leprechaun. Any closing thoughts on that one?
Fucking look at pictures of Jennifer Aniston shorts.
Absolutely.
Let's
No,
start
I'm
a
going to
debate.
spend a lot of time researching that one.
They're so confusing.
Yeah.
I really want someone to
so
recreate them and then wear them to a horror con or something, and everyone will know who they are.
No, they are very distinctive.
They're ridiculous.
It's very 90s, and it's just... God.
I literally, I don't know if the director told them to do that, or the costumes that designer was just yo guys, I got some shorts. Did they make this movie purely around those shorts, and they just need to create a plot that involved them? Was that their concept?
Yeah.
They're proof of concept, shorts. Oh shit, this is gonna be great. That's what happened.
Possibly.
They're insane.
That's that right there. I do love the fact that when this movie was re-released after Jennifer Aniston became a massive, massive star, so the original poster is just that very classic Leprechaun opening up the door that's bright behind him. Otherwise, it's just the entire thing's in darkness. But what they did is they added it. They added her face, Jennifer Aniston's face, onto it, and she's 3 times the size of the Leprechaun.
Oh yeah,
and she's given the shock face. So
then every
star power.
And then every other one after that, every other of these remake covers is just Warwick Davis hamming it up in front of the camera. It's great, and
that's the way it should be.
Except for Leprechaun Origins, which is a weird hand holding molten gold or something, and it looks like crap. But also, I bought this movie on Vudu. So I already owned Leprechaun Returns, because when it came out, I had to see it for some reason. But you can buy all 7 of the original films for $9.99 on Vudu right now. So
oh, not too bad.
If you want to own that
is
collection,
a St. Patrick's Day special, or
I believe
is that
so.
just kind of them giving up?
I don't know. When I first thought it was $9.99, I'm like, oh, is it worth it to buy one movie for $9.99? Like, it could be. It's kind of a fun movie. And then I was like, oh, all 7 of them? Hell yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Hell yeah. I was so happy to have them all.
It's like $1.50 per movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd see this movie for
classic
$1.50.
film.
It's worth $1.50.
Yeah. Like, I think it's a good thing to show around St. Patrick's Day, especially when you kind of get tired of the whole drinking all the time thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nice alternative.
All right, cool. All right. So once again, this has been Primitive Screwheads Talk Horror Movies. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, I'm going to say this twice because they rock.
What?
Thanks to Teddy's Atlas for the our theme song Horror Movie Story. You can get that off the album Children of the Corn. And you can get Jennifer's Aniston shorts at Abercrombie & Fitch, I'm assuming. I'm going to spend a lot of time researching that and post that to the Facebook group. Our next movie, I don't think we've 100% decided just yet, although I did talk about going over to Asia for a little bit.
I'm game.
What are you thinking about that one right there? And I'm thinking, I'm really disappointed that they never finished painting this house. So let's go to another house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
Alrighty. So thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Kind of reminds you of that movie, The Leprechaun. You remember with that little guy
yeah.
who goes, I'm the leprechaun. Garth, I'm the leprechaun.
Cool it, okay?
I'm the leprechaun.
Stop it, all right?
Don't try and steal me pot of gold.
Stop it!